I I dreamed this early one morning last week. I dreamed my mom took me shopping for a new outfit. I found a beautiful shirt and a lovely jacket with a fur collar. Both were winter white. They were very expensive. My mom made this face and walked out. I went to one side to look at pants, but there were tables with snobby women were sitting around drinking coffee and eating, and all I saw were jeans. I turned and went the other way, and I saw pants folded in plastic bags and were a brown ruddy color, and they said Nickelodeon on the side. I
Hmm.
picked up a size 3 and a size 5 to try on, and I woke up. And I remember when I woke up, 35 was very vivid in my mind, like the 3 and the 5 was together.
Interesting. Okay. You didn't have a dream about love or relationships you wanted to share?
Well, this was the one I was emailed. I have a dream about that I dreamed about my husband before I met him.
Let's go with that one.
Okay, I dreamed that this is a funny dream to me. I dreamed that we were walking on the circumference of the earth and we
Hmm.
were holding hands and I could see the circumference of the earth and we had a path. And in the dream, I was wearing a bikini and high heels, and on the high heels they were clear and there were jewels, different colored jewels all over the shoes, like decorative. And he was wearing a dark suit and I could see he had dark hair. This is before I met him.
Hmm.
And in the dream, I could feel such a strong love and I was so happy. And I could tell that what we were doing together was blessing enormous amounts of people because I could see crowds of people on either side of the walkway. And we were walking this path and holding hands. And all I could feel was the enormous amount of love of God in it. And, but I didn't see his face and I didn't know him at that time. But now I'm happily married.
So you know for a fact that even though you didn't see his face, that the guy you're married to was the guy in the dream.
Yes, I do know because
Wow.
I feel the strength of our covenant and our marriage.
Okay. That's that's encouraging. And I love it when people share stories like that because those of us that are still single, waiting for that moment to be happily married, are love to hear testimonies of how God speaks to people in dreams. I think it's really interesting. When you said you were walking around the circumference of the earth, the first thing I heard was, I would go anywhere, like anywhere in the world with
Yes,
you. And
and
that's
that's true.
something that's, it's written in a lot of love songs. It's something that I think it shows a deep level of commitment. There's I like you, I love you, I want to hang out with you, and then literally I would go anywhere with you. It's just a deep level, and hopefully, obviously, if somebody's going to get married, they want to
Yes.
make that level of a commitment. But particularly when you said walking around the circumference of the earth, I was seeing you walking around like the equator.
Right.
I wasn't seeing you like
Oh,
walking around the poles. And so
mm-mm.
to me, it would make sense that you were wearing a bathing suit because there's another phrase that some business friends of mine will always say, which would be, I'll see you on the beaches of the world. And so some of those places that you would want to go, certainly with a significant other, with a husband or a wife, would be the honeymoon spots. Let's go to Bali, let's go to the Virgin Islands, let's go to any number of those, the Maldives, places like that. Um, but it's interesting that you were wearing high heels,
And they
and you
were clear like glass. Yeah.
clear, but they had like jewels in them.
On the across the toes, all these multicolored jewels.
Right. The first thing I saw was Cinderella's glass slipper. you know and so to me, I was just like, wow, this makes a lot of sense because in obviously in the story of Cinderella, a lot of times God will use movies, he'll use pop culture, he'll use things to kind of hint to us about certain things. One of the things that's interesting is the issue of timing, certainly in the story of Cinderella, but it's also the idea of having a whole and completely new life that is outside the ordinary of maybe what you had before. So I think
Yeah.
it's absolutely fascinating that does he has dark hair.
He did. It's
He
now
does.
white. He did have dark hair.
How long have you been married?
Oh, 17, almost 18 years. So it
Oh,
wasn't our first, but it's our last.
God, that's amazing. Well, that's
And I
awesome.
I felt like the bikini represented no more shame, nothing to hide.
Oh, wow, yeah, I could see that too, absolutely. And I love the idea that he's in a business suit too, because I
Yeah,
think one of the things that's on the heart of a woman is like, can he do business? Is he going to be able to provide? And can the guy handle his business? And so the idea that God was kind of showing you in a funny way that this is, a tall, dark, and handsome man that can handle his business. You can be free to be you, show everything, be in the
so
bikini,
true.
like you said, no shame at all, be on the beach, but kind of be swept off your feet in that love Cinderella like experience, which it sounds like you guys are continuing the journey 18
Yes.
years. Wow,
Yeah, we're very, very happy.
that's
Very
amazing.
happy.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing that with us tonight.
Thank you so much. So there's no deep meaning in that other than it's just a perfect dream about my future that came true.
Yeah, I think, a lot of times it's and this is one of the things we want to talk about tonight. A lot of times God will give us a dream about our spouses that may not necessarily be predictive.
Right.
But then after you go through, it's not like you're like, well, I'm going to go out with him because he has dark hair, and the guy in the dream had dark hair. It's like you meet, you fall in love, and then years later, or even some months later, you look back and you're like, I had that dream, and this guy reminds me of that dream, and then it's like a confirmation to you. A lot of times, I think we get stuck in that pattern of thinking that dreams are predictive, where they're going to tell you what he looks like, and he's going to tell you who his face is, or this or that. And God has really interesting ways of communicating the message of love through dreams. And obviously now looking back, like you said, you knew, and I wanted to question you on it. Like, how sure were you that this guy, you didn't see his face and you're like, no, this is the guy. This is the guy I
Yeah.
dreamt about. I know because of the depth of our covenant. And so it serves as a confirmation to you, and something that even, if there's difficult times, you can keep going because 100% this is who the Lord has for you, which is incredible.
Yeah, because when I met him, I literally like tried to push him away. I had to
Wow.
hear the Lord to say yes.
Yeah.
And but do you know what the jewels mean? I always wonder why there was jewels on my feet.
To me, it's
Oh,
just a level of opulence. It's
I
different
like that
between,
word.
obviously the prince was a prince. And so the idea of a level of elegance, a level of opulence, a level of extravagance, you have to be an extravagant lady anyway to be traveling around the world in a bikini, yet in high heels. You're just a whole different kind of experience. You think about that practically. I love looking at dreams practically and being
Right.
like, yeah, that's kind of relationally awkward. I don't see myself doing that, but it's figurative.
Uh,
It's representing, just like he's handling his business. He's in
Yeah,
his business suit, and you are free 100% to be you, to wear the
yeah,
bling, but yet to wear the bikini. Like you said, no shame, just to be who you are and be totally comfortable knowing that he's at your side and business is handled.
that is so good. That's so good.